peoples, it is Monday. We're gonna make some lentils. I also bought $2 worth of celery that we are going to process both into cleaned stalks for munching and snacking on. We're gonna put it in this leftover salad box. And I'm going to be taking the more exterior stalks that are tougher and the leaves, which can be very potent in flavor and somewhat bitter. And we're going to make a little mirepoix with it, which is just onions, carrots, and celery together. And we have the onions that we cooked in the oven last time. So I'm just gonna start with roasted onions that are already very flavorful with herbs. And I have 2 carrots that we can wash, peel, and dice up. And while we make that, I'm gonna boil my lentils, which I have soaking in here. Just some red lentils that I soaked this morning. And I don't know, you might find this gross, but I kept the dumpling water that I was boiling for my grandma this morning, because it has this like very nice starchy quality to it, and one of the dumplings exploded, so it leaked a lot of flavorful porky juice out. So I figured we can just make use of this carby flavored water to cook our lentils in. I'll be flavoring the lentils as well. I have to write up some newsletters for Barrel Up and Barrel this week, and I'll just be using some spices so that I could get some tasting notes in, a little bit of research and flavor profiling for my work. And I might roast some sweet potatoes for Grandma, and if I'm gonna do that, I also want to make a plum crumble of sorts. So if we're turning on the oven, I will be doing that, but one thing at a time. So let me get the celery out first, and I will be using, I think, our Le Creuset, because I just don't use it enough, and we should use it more, because we should use it more. Is my new place as hot as the old one? I'm not sure yet. I don't have enough data points to know yet. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Congratulations on your resignation, problematic employee, Kara. How was everyone's weekend? I'll try to read your comments before I have to chop my finger off. Hello, Czech Republic. Indian Chinese food, yeah, it's like a hybrid cuisine that I'm not very familiar with, that I'm very fascinated by, actually. So I would like to try it one day for sure. I have no idea who Laura Jane Grace is, but I'm glad you had a lovely concert experience. Volunteered at a food event this weekend. Hello, Panda. Welcome to a live stream. I'm not very familiar with Indian cuisine. I feel like there's so many different variations of it too. And I think I was for a very long time, maybe still am, intimidated by Indian cuisine because there's just so many different spices involved. But I'll come around to it. Dementia is a tough one. Indeed. Kind of just want to eat a celery. Good luck delivering our mail. Thank you for your service. No, I don't think I saw your music recommendation. I'm finding out every day that a lot of people still don't know that I have this channel. It cracks me up. Especially considering how we've been here for 2 years. It is a Le Creuset. Yes, indeed. I think you can pack while you watch or while you listen. Isn't that what most people do when I go live? You just use these as company. Happy to be here for you. My weekend was lovely. Saturday, I didn't have farm school. I went to hot yoga. I met up with Aaron, saw Freddie in the evening. And on Sunday, let's see, what did I do on Sunday? Oh, Sunday was really great too. I saw my friend Charlie, and she was co-hosting a clothing swap, and I took some of my clothes that I didn't fit into anymore, and some pieces got taken, some pieces got donated. I found some excellent pieces as well, one of which was a strapless maxi dress that I've given to Grandma for her to shorten a little bit for me, because I believe it was made for a lady much taller than I am. It kind of dragged on the floor on the bottom, so not only do I get a dress, I get to give Grandma a little bit of a project to occupy her time with. She always likes to have a little project going on. All right, we're gonna do medium heat, lots of olive oil, because I'm thinking this mirepoix of sorts will be a little bit of, ooh, let's use some pumpkin pie spice salt. a little bit of like a, almost like a condiment vegetable. Why are you in there, you black speck? That might be weird burnt shit. Huh. Okay, heating this up. I'm going to start probably with celery since it's already washed. Although normally I would probably start with carrots since they are heartier and take longer to cook, but oh, you know what? Let's do some garlic too. Yes. Grandma is great at sewing. She used to be better, but you know, with eyesight going and kind of a fine movement, fine motor skills going, it's gotten a little tougher on her, but she still likes to have a little bit of a task, you know, we all do. So especially today, it was kind of cloudy and rainy, and I didn't really get to take her out. So I think giving her a little bit of a project made it less of a bummer for her. So I just try to provide Grandma with some activities. Swanky Angela, how did you time someone out by accident? What were you clicking on, my dude? Hi, Houston. But anyway, it's time to appreciate our mods. Thank you so much, mods, for being here. I'm using red lentils. My favorite tea to drink are many. I like Gamaichas. I like Milky Oolong from Harney and Son. I like some black teas. I like Earl Grey. I don't know if I have a favorite. I love jasmine. Definitely love tea. Hi, Chicago. Yay! Cook your questionable carrots. I love questionable carrots. I find that shrivelly carrots taste so sweet, and so condensed and concentrated in that earthy flavor that carrots have. They just taste powerful, aged, wise. So, has anyone seen Hunger? Is that what that movie's called? The Thai movie about toxicity in celebrity chef culture and restaurants? I hate how they always have scenes. It's kind of like the new, you know how we used to have these makeover scenes in rom-coms? Like in The Princess Diary, where you take like a geeky, nerdy girl and you transform her through hair and makeup and glasses removal into this gorgeous beauty. And I feel like we're starting to do that for like cooking movies and shows now too, where you take someone who doesn't know how to chop vegetables right and you see them make these perfect knife cuts and I'm just like, get the fuck out of here, who cares? Literally nobody cares if you can chop all the vegetables in the exact same size as the other vegetables. They are all going to get chewed. Who has time for that? Nobody. But somehow, chopping vegetables into perfectly identical sizes is like a marker of your success or something in the kitchen. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I did watch The Bear. The Bear was realistic in the way it depicted the kitchen, but it was very unrealistic in the way it depicted certain aspects of kitchen culture. For example, I've never seen someone rage quit and then return to the kitchen. Like, once you rage quit, you leave. You don't. There is no going back to a kitchen that you quit. You don't want to. There are many other kitchens that will hire you, and there's just so much ego in kitchens that nobody will ever return to a place they willingly quit. So that's my experience anyway. But there were some scenes in The Bear that gave me some serious restaurant PTSD, like when the ticket machine was going off. The sounds can be so triggering of a ticket machine going off. Yeah, that was not a pleasant memory. Wow, I did not grow up with parents who cooked, so I have no idea that families were so strict on cutting sizes on vegetables like that. Fascinating. I'm glad I did not have that kind of Chinese mother. That pumpkin pie spice salt smells really good in the celery. Smells amazing, actually. I mean, front of house gets very stressful too. I think restaurant in general is just a very stressful industry to be in. Very low reward, perfect for masochists, essentially. So if you ever want to feel underappreciated and worthless while making minimum wage, you should go work in a restaurant. It'll be an ideal environment for you. I also think that some people were like physically masochistic. Some people really like to get burn marks on themselves. I don't know. It's kind of twisted. Some strange characters you'll meet working in kitchens. Maybe that's how I got so comfortable being so weird, is spending all that time in kitchens. You will meet some of the worst people in restaurants. They're usually not the staff, although yes, some staff can be horrible. They're usually just customers who think they deserve everything and will make everyone's lives a little bit more difficult that day. If you think you're not a good person and you want to change, work in the service industry for 4 months. It'll be very hands-on learning, both observational, exposure, and practice. CBT at its finest. I hated the menu. It made me so angry. I might have hated the menu more than I hated Hunger, because I felt like at least Hunger had some very innovative food ideas in it, but the menu was just IDK. It was shot awfully too. None of it was coherent. It was trying to be too many things simultaneously. That's just my 2 cents though. I do not use the bottom of the bowl to do a quick knife sharpening, though. I hear some people use mud too, but not on my knife. I've heard great things about beef. I sharpen my own knives, but I haven't done that in a very long time, probably almost a year. So we should do it soon. Have I learned anything interesting lately in farm school? I've learned that you get out of things most of the time what you put into it. Especially when it comes to group projects. I used to feel this sense of injustice when people wouldn't show up to do group projects and wouldn't pull their weight. But I since realized that one, if doing the project doesn't educate you or enrich your life, the problem is not with the students who are not pulling their weight. The problem is with the curriculum. Number two, if you do care about the project and the content matter and the learning, then if you put more of effort into the project, you will be learning more during the process of putting in the effort. So the bigger picture is not who's doing the work and who isn't. The bigger picture is why are you learning this and is it actually useful for your life? So instead of blaming people for not doing what you think they should do, maybe what I should be concentrating on is, do I actually want to do this thing I've been assigned? And if no, then why do I do it? Being a little more critical from a larger framework rather than concentrating on the individual, questioning the system. That seems to be the trend of our lives, doesn't it? $2 worth of celery. Yes, I agree with that carbon steel knife comment because my knife is also carbon steel. Carbon steel is easier to sharpen than a stainless steel knife. A stainless steel knife is much thicker. Carbon steel is a more brittle metal, and stainless steel, I think, is slightly more durable in terms of its strength. Carbon steel is very easily broken and chipped. Stainless steel, much less so, which means the sturdier it is, really, the harder it will be to sharpen, because when you're sharpening a knife, what you're essentially doing is grinding away the metal so that you are honing a thinner blade at the tip, at the edge of the knife. So I do like carbon steel knives a lot. Isn't this a fun way to peel carrots? In a spiral? Has anyone ever peeled a carrot in a spiral? I don't like ceramic knives. They are very easily chipped and broken and shattered. They will basically break like glass. So no to ceramic knives. They're just simply too fragile for me. I am very klutzy and accident prone. So that is not the knife type for me. Not the construction that I need. Yeah, I do save my Tupperware. Up there. I don't have a lot because I don't really eat takeout. But I do have them. I'm going to put some of our onions in now so the flavors and the fat and the herbs can start marinating themselves into the mirepoix. You got a bit upset and curious as I referenced hot yoga as white girl, but you don't like us speaking that way. I don't know what you're saying, Tracy. I feel like hot yoga in a city like New York tends to be for richer, yuppier, bougier people. The white girl is not necessarily referring to like race, which is made up in the first place anyway. It's more referring to a lifestyle and a stereotype of the image of a white girl, which is moneyed, popular, probably a little bit concerned about looks. You know, she's an stereotype, an archetype. So in the same way that like we have stereotypes about Asian nerds, I think. Doesn't mean that all Asians are nerds. It doesn't mean that all people who are white and female are white girls. It's just a particular type of person. But I can totally agree that it might be offensive to some people. And you may not like what I say, and you're certainly more than welcome to call me out on it. Some people use plastic plates. I don't know. It might have to do with the fact that like they just don't have time to do dishes. They might not have a dishwasher. They might not have enough money to buy more permanent forms of dishware, tableware. Unfortunately, the American lifestyle is pretty wasteful. Plastic is pretty prevalent. If you think about office workers who don't pack their own lunch and goes out and buys lunch, it's probably packed in disposables too. So it's not just families who eat it at home, it's also middle class, upper class working professionals who like buy disposable shit. Like people who buy juice cleanses that come shipped to them in plastic bottles that don't get reused. People who order shit like Blue Apron. You know, those things all come packed in packages. People who order ice creams online and it gets shipped in dry ice. Increases carbon emissions because it's a heavier package to ship. There's all sorts of waste. So that's also just talking about individuals. Let's talk about whole businesses that function on waste. The fact that we even have companies who make garbage bags, like we live in a culture that encourages trash. We make a product to put trash in. We don't just like make trash. We tell you you should buy this bag that you then put trash into. That's always boggled my mind. I've never willingly bought trash bags. My parents always grew up using like plastic shopping bags as bags. And now that we have a shopping bag ban on plastic stuff in New York, I've just resorted to like using produce bags that come with, say, prepackaged apples or chip bags, things that already come in packaging. But again, let's think about the way we've structured our society and all these hidden messages of norms of living, what it's actually saying. I'm not going to answer for families who use plastic because I'm not one of them. You're going to have to ask people who actually live that lifestyle. I just don't know what their realities are like. I don't know what their motivations are like. I don't know what their limitations and restrictions are like. I just don't know. I don't know enough to pass any sort of judgment. And I don't think it's really productive to have that conversation, frankly. Yeah, I mean, I can preach one thing and say another, right, Tracy? Just because I think we should all not hinge our existence and interpretation of the world on stereotypes doesn't mean that I never participate in believing and using stereotypes. I still do. I'm not like a great person 100% of the time. But I think I use that less as a way of, I mean, maybe not, but I thought I used that term, white girl, more as a way to describe a lifestyle than a certain group of people of a gender and a race. when I go into a hot yoga class in Midtown Manhattan, I feel like a white girl. Like I'm riding the subway with my yoga mat on a yoga strap slung over my shoulder. I feel like a fucking white girl. Does that make sense? I'm not white, but I feel like one because there's a stereotype of the white girl. Okay, time for some chilies. I actually only have 2 of the 4 chilies that I need right now, but silk chili. It comes from Turkey. It's the Aleppo variety. It tastes apparently like roasted tomato, honey, and Mediterranean sun. It has a little bit of sunflower seed oil and salt. The Turkish variety of the Aleppo pepper. Our silk chili was historically ground using heavy silk ropes, giving them a smooth, slippery texture. Used in any dish in need of a little excitement, from scrambled eggs to burgers to brownies. Perfect for cooking or finishing. Here's what that looks like. It comes in flecks of irregular sizes. There are darker, larger flecks that resemble like Morton kosher salt. And then there are finer, smaller, orangey red, brighter, lighter in color bits that resemble diamond kosher salt. I think that is a chili pepper flake that you could eat on its own, and it almost tastes like a complete dish. Oh yeah, this would really be good as on elote for sure with mayo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of wealth disparity in the US. 1 in 8 Americans actually is food insecure, meaning there's a huge portion of our country that don't know if they're going to be able to put food on the dinner table that day. So the variation is big. It is. This pepper is making me want to sneeze. And then we also have these sweet pepper flakes of the Jimmy Nardello variety. This comes from Norwich Meadow Farm in upstate New York, so fairly local to where I am. And this one really just feels like a sun-dried tomato. There's zero heat to these, and they're huge. They're huge flakes. You can almost eat them as a chip. Let's put some in. Okay, I'm gonna move this to the back. Gonna move this to the front. We're gonna start cooking our lentils, which are soaked. Speaking on differences in state cultures, what are some authentic food cultures you can think of for different states? I don't know what authentic means anymore, unfortunately, so I'm not even going to touch that because I haven't been to many other states. I also think that cultural cuisine and highlights and enclaves of certain ethnicity groups and immigration groups are very specific to cities and towns and not to the entire state. I don't know if soaking with lentils helps with farts, unfortunately. Well, you can always adjust what you cook with what your needs are, right? That's why I don't really do recipes. And unfortunately, I've been there on the low sodium, low potassium diet when I've had huge kidney issues, and there's just no workaround for that. If you get stuck with bad health, you get stuck with bad health. Luck of the draw. Some of us just have shittier luck. That's also a thing. No running water. We still have cities that don't have drinkable water, that are not safe to even shower in right now. And this is America. And places like Flint, Michigan have been dealing with this shit for over a decade. Probably other places too. It is exhausting. But if you don't have water, there's not much you can do, huh? Would you ever consider going more plant-based? Meaning you think I eat too much meat? Or you want me to go vegan? So no eggs, no cheese, no yogurt, no butter? I'm not a fan of veganism. I'm not a fan of cutting off any particular type of food supply. I think the greater issue is, are we taking a more holistic look at our food systems, and what it's made us believe and how it's affected the way we think. And I'm gonna add some star anise into our lentils just because I want to use up some of Mom's star anise. I don't know why. I do know why. I don't want to keep all of these things for too long. I think they get very hard and difficult to look at. Okay, shall we turn on our oven then? I think so. Let's go for it. Those plums in my fridge are looking pretty disastrous. And if I cook more today, I can cook less tomorrow. I think I'm gonna throw an apple in there too, maybe. And maybe we'll eat an apple? Yeah? That sounds good. Maybe. These 4 apples, one of these apples costs as much as 6 of those plums. Those plums I got 6 for $1. I got these apples from the farmer's market. They're about $1 each. But Grandma was like, you gotta treat yourself. And I was like, you're right, Grandma, you're right. Hi, Germany. There's no specificity. It's just red lentils, anise, and water right now. Or more accurately, leftover dumpling cooking liquid. You should know better. I don't have specificity in what I cook for myself. Hi, Austria. Okay, we're gonna turn on our oven, 375. I will start with some of these white sweet potatoes, the Japanese variety. Chad has described is all in this pot of mirepoix, which is onions, carrots, celery. But the lentils just have star anise in them right now. Know in terms of cold storage and room temp storage what the difference is for a lot of vegetables. Some people say you should never store tomatoes in the fridge. I disagree with that. I think usually for things that don't require me to fridge, I won't. So I don't think you need to fridge sweet potatoes. So I don't. But I don't know if that means you can't store sweet potatoes in the fridge. I've been told it changes potatoes' textures sometimes. Yeah, I'm really just breaking down the sweet potatoes to a size where they don't take over an hour to bake because I don't want my oven on for that long. And also those are the sizes that I like to portion out for grandma anyway. So it chops the potatoes down to size so that exactly like Wonder Woman said, it just makes them more consistent in terms of cooking times so that you don't have a smaller potato cooking done at 30 minutes, and then you have like a larger potato that takes an hour and 20. If you struggle to cut sweet potatoes, your knife might not be sharp enough. It might not be heavy enough. You might need to consider a vegetable cleaver. It just needs more leverage. I'm not sure Fred is coming over. Fred does not like this place, so I'm trying not to move him around too much. I think I'm gonna put in our lentils more pumpkin pie spice salt. That one's empty, great. Guys, that's the last of it. We've used all of our pumpkin pie spice salt. And maybe some turmeric. Maybe some coriander? Maybe some cumin? Maybe some mushrooms? Ooh, mushrooms. White pepper, coriander. Let's skip the cumin for now. Cumin can be a little bit distracting from the other flavors, but love the coriander. Love our little dried chanterelle a lot. Love a little white pepper. Yep. Okay. Then we'll let it simmer. I do not go to PHARM Farm. If you watch my videos, you would know. I've mentioned it in several videos and linked it. I do make sweet potato chips. I love them. They get me very gassy. Grandma will not eat lentils. No, these lentils are for me. Okay. Somebody asked earlier if I peel an apple in a spiral. Yes, I do. These are Ida Red apples. They are kind of soft, but have a very pleasantly floral aroma in addition to a very vanilla kind of sweetness. I think they will work in our baked good fairly well. No, there's a lot of peel. I actually don't have a knife that is a full tang, but you definitely don't want a knife where the blade is not a whole piece. That will break very easily. For sure. What shall we bake in, y'all? That's not big enough. Let's use her. We got her, and we never used her. Today's the day. So, I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. I guess I could use butter, huh? But olive oil in desserts, underrated. I'm just going to chop these apples up and the plums as well. And we're just going to roast them. Maybe with a little buttery topping on top. The thing about organic stuff is also, these are small farmers market farms. Some of them like don't want to spend the money to get USDA certification because being certified organic is like kind of a racket. It's very bureaucratic. So just keep that in mind. Just because they aren't certified organic does not mean that they follow worse growing practices than organically certified places. A lot of the times, actually, being certified organic doesn't mean what you think it means because of lobbying and shit like that. Even if you're certified organic, you're still allowed to use certain types of pesticides, actually. So it also depends on the country's rules. Each country has different rules for what qualifies as organic, and you know, just keep that in mind. Labels are labels. They are controlled by interests. They do not always tell the truth. I think I'm going to populate the bottoms of each of these halves in our bakeware with apple, because I want the apples to get a little more caramelized. I think our mirepoix is done. We got a nice little bit of caramelization on the bottom, so I'm just going to let the vegetables sit in here and lift that fond up. We'll stir this lentil paste, which is almost done as well. Cool. I will be sprinkling these fruits with a little bit of sugar, especially the plums. They are not that great sometimes. One of you was soft. Who was it? You're kind of soft. Well, you're both kind of soft. All right. Mondays, am I right? Perhaps the number one skill I learned in college was critical thinking. And even then I wasn't like fully critically thinking. And even now I'm not fully critical thinking, but it is the path that you have to start somewhere on. Do not trust so easily, my children. Yay! Lentils are mushy and done. Somebody asked, how did you develop such a love for mush earlier? I don't know. I think as with all things, it was a reification of both personality and preference. I think I developed a lot of my identity based off of trying to be weird, because I think I felt a lot of rejection throughout my childhood and adolescence as an immigrant, and a perpetual outsider. And so I think I just decided to like love the things that most people wouldn't and or found disgusting. And I kind of let that define me a little bit. Maybe more than I should have, but here we are. I don't think this choice is better or worse than any other. I think it's just the way I grew up, you know? So, that's all. That is all. I'm going to throw a little bit of sugar on top of the apples. I really do love this vanilla sugar a lot. It has like a caramelized taste to it. The one thing that we are trying to rework on, or not we, but the team is it's not moisture sealed. So the sugar tends to like clump up a lot, so I have to go in with a knife and just break it up a little bit to make it work and shake out. But it's a very lovely sugar. And I'll toss a little bit of cinnamon here too. Where you be? Okay, I'm committing a crime here, but I'm gonna use up this old cinnamon. It's not Burlap and Barrel, it's Spice House. I will say just between the two, Spice House's cinnamon were excellent, but they do not stand up to time as well as the Burlap and Barrel ones. Like, this flavor has degraded way more noticeably than my Burlap and Barrel cinnamon. So I don't know why that is, but they were delicious when I first got them over a year ago, maybe 2 years. I don't know how long it's been. Okay. Plums next. We are going to remove the pit, and I think I will just wedge them. They're very lovely plums. I'll just layer them lightly. I'm kind of tired of eating fruit raw. Not that I don't like it, it's just I think eating raw fruit actually makes me very gassy sometimes. So I feel like breaking them down in the oven is easier on my digestive system. Maybe I do have some form of IBS and it's just been undiagnosed for most of my life. We'll never know. Yeah, originally I was like, let's make a crisp or a crumble, but now I don't think I will. Now I think we're just gonna roast it. So I don't really want to keep the oven on for too long. And fruit salad would be nice. I don't mind a fruit salad, but also it would still be raw fruit, you know? am actually also lactose intolerant, especially when it comes to reduced fat dairy products. And any sort of skim or reduced fat milk will ruin me for about 8 to 12 hours. So I've learned to stay away from my reduced fat dairy products. They also just don't taste that good, so they're not even worth the pain and suffering. I don't know much about Ayurvedic traditions, but I feel like it has a lot of similarities with like the Chinese culinary medicinal school of thought regarding what kinds of foods affect your bodies in which ways. It's a very fascinating study, and I think as a young Chinese American, I used to be like, what do you mean? That's no science. But as I've gotten older, and as I've gotten more ailments collecting, I think there might be some sort of credit to that. Once again, you can't run away from your origins. A lot of the traditions that I try to deny, like mom telling me not to drink cold stuff on my period, what else? Not having the AC and fan blow on you all night. It just doesn't make sense from an American perspective. But I have to remind myself that I'm not American in that way. Like, my body was not born here. I did not grow up here for a lot of my childhood. My body is not attuned to the traditions in this land in a complete way as others might be. And so keeping that in mind, I have to be more discerning about, like, what are the truths for me, given my personal origins, and how it might not be as simple as black and white as I've always thought it was. I'm sure mom is like nodding in a I told you so way somewhere right now. In which case, if she is, you were right, mom, as always. Yep, these are plums. So I'm going to top this with sugar as well, but I'm going to use a different sugar. We're just going to use some turbinado. I think, is this turbinado? Ooh, that's a lot. Cool. Now let's think about what spices I want on the plums, if any. I think I want a little bit of ginger and cloves. So let's do some cloves. And some ginger. And let's go in with a little bit of butter. Guys, I used to be so butterphobic. That was probably the height of my first half of disordered eating in my life. It's just like saying no to all fatty things. But butter is great, dudes. You know I don't show you all my meals, right? Just because you don't see me eat it doesn't mean I don't do it. I don't show you when I poop either, you know? You're welcome. Okay. Half an hour. Yeah, carbs is my main food group. Like, did you just see how much sugar I dumped into those apples and plums, which are already carbs? That entire casserole dish is just straight carbs. I don't have a set time for the sweet potatoes. It's just whenever they're knife tender. If you buy farmers market apples and you're not eating the peels for whatever reason, you are missing out on flavor. Okay, guys, we need to clarify. Just because your produce is getting sprayed, you need to know what they're spraying it with. There's organic pesticides, and then there's like Monsanto pesticides. Not all produce sprays were created equal. If you don't want to eat any, that's a you problem, girl. And thank goodness you don't have to eat everything I eat, huh? Alright, I am ready to taste the mush. Taste the mush. We're gonna extract our star anise. this mush is very thick. I call this my lentil soup concentrate. Basically, I pack it away in this very condensed solid form where it doesn't even fall off the spoon, so that I can then dilute it with water, and it saves room in the fridge, guys. If you ever want to make some lentil soup concentration, kind of like how you dilute a Campbell's canned soup, same concept here. So apparently people eat a lot of fruit peels. Kiwis are one, mangoes are another, watermelon rind is another. There's a lot of orange rind and orange peel used as spices in a lot of like Asian cuisines. Banana peels, you all know, thanks to TikTok. What else? There's so many instances of these. Guys, I'm gonna show you the most disgusting snack that I'm currently loving. So stick around. Stick around if you want to see me eat my disgusting snack. It involves saltines. Okay, I'm doing this right now because I see a lot of fond in the Le Creuset, and I don't want to waste it by washing it away. So I'm actually going to dump our lentil soup concoction into this big pot and try to lift off all of those flavors, which is why I'm removing most of the mirepoix into a jar first. So we've made this much. And that's the fond at the bottom. Think of the mirepoix as a condiment. It can go in the base of all of your stir fries for the week. It can go into the base of all your soups for the week. It can go on top as a topping for your eggs and leftovers. It can even go into a tuna salad if you want. The possibilities are endless, guys. I don't have plans. You can keep asking, but it's probably going to start annoying me because when I cook things, I don't really have a plan for them. It's just one step closer to them being ready to eat. So All I'm doing is making these ingredients ready to use, ready to eat, and making myself be more of a vegetable consumer throughout the week. Because sometimes when I don't prep the vegetables, I don't eat them. I just eat saltines dipped in spoiler alert chai. I bet Alice follows me on Instagram, don't you, Alice? Yeah, but biscotti doesn't have salt on it. Think about it. It's a salted cracker going into a sweetened drink. I find it amazing and very, very satisfying, but I'm sure some people will gag at it. Hi, Grease. Yeah, I enjoyed reading the past, present, and future comments on my Instagram post. A lot of them are really sad, y'all. A lot of them are really sad. I guess most of us, those of us who like to comment on my stuff, who follow me on Instagram and like actually take my prompts seriously, tend to probably fall closer to me in personality type and outlook on life, which is probably slightly pessimistic. And a little bit melancholic, and maybe even physically and mentally ill, because I've had a lot of those ailments. So I think being ill changes your perspective on life quite a bit. Feeling like you have no control over your own health and body will make you develop a very different perspective on life. For sure. Bye, Linda. I also wrote that question when I was high, so like it might not make sense to you. But if you get it, then I guess you get it. I think if you're chasing happiness and contentment, you will never find it. Because the whole idea of searching for it means that you are not there. It is not something that you can have or own. Which is a very human desire to have and to own. But having and owning does not bring that much satisfaction in the end. Doesn't last that long, even if it does anyway. I think you have to love the process and appreciate all aspects of it, including the parts that may feel quote unquote bad. But I've recently started to think about Mom's advice on how even when I come across disappointment and heartbreak in life, that this too is all a part of living and the experience of being alive. And it's helped me start to shift my perspective on what is good and bad in life. Like, is trauma necessarily a bad thing? Yeah, it could potentially break you, depending on what kind of trauma and how severe it is. But smaller ones, I don't know. Maybe they could not be bad. Maybe they can be neutral. And maybe with time, they can even be a positive experience. And maybe not positive in the way that we're thinking, but positive in the way that, like, in terms of absolute value, when we talk about numbers, the absolute value of something is positive. The absolute value of a negative event is positive. That's still very hot. Yes, it is a microfiber cloth. Is Pamela Anderson's autobiography, oh my god, I have trouble saying that word, recent? Just last weekend, I was hanging out with Aaron, and I could not say the word autobiographical. It just kept falling out of my mouth in weird chunks. I don't know. I stumble across some English words sometimes, like the polysyllabic ones. I just can't say them sometimes. We have more chai, but I've already drunk like a whole jar of chai, so I'm trying to not drink too much because I might not be able to fall asleep. But we have chai, and we have saltines that I got for $1 last Friday. I was taking a walk with a friend, and I found a $1 box of saltines. Now, granted, they do not taste excellent. I did not know that saltines can taste worse than quality saltines. I thought saltines were just like cheap crackers, but it turns out some saltines do taste worse, and this one tastes worse. For $1, which I have not seen in years, I'm not surprised, but I'm a little bit sad. For one, you can tell just by the looks, they're all like broken on top. They're not smooth. They all have these like over-baked air bubbles and uneven spots that have created craters. I've never made Julia Child recipes, and I have absolutely no desire to. I have no interest in French cooking right now at this stage of my life. I can make breadcrumbs with them, I guess, but they would just turn mushy. I would much prefer to eat them dipped in chai, like this. This is my latest snack slash dessert slash breakfast slash meal. If you like chai, give it a try. I do chai and not coffee because chai should, in my book, chai is always sweet. maybe not for everyone. Coffee might not be as sweet as frequently as chai is, so I feel like the sweet and the salty is giving me such a nice contrast. I also ate a lot of saltines last night with Greek yogurt. So good. Chai doesn't taste the same if you cook it without sugar. Cooking it with sugar, and especially my method, which caramelizes the sugar in the pot first with all the spices and the tea before I put in the milk and the water, it creates like this creamier, thicker, more viscous mouthfeel. And it's just a much more satisfying cup of chai. I know people who can't have sugar or don't want to have sugar, don't make it with sugar, and it's still chai, obviously, it's still tea and milk, but it's just not quite the same degree of satisfaction for me. But now I want some yogurt, too. Saltines with peanut butter, girl. Saltines with Ritz. Sorry, peanut butter with Ritz. But I bet it would taste really good if you put it between a saltine and a Ritz, too. But Ritz is more expensive, so I can see that. So yes, saltines, you have to be very careful because they're very fragile, especially the cheap ones. But it is delicious with Greek yogurt. Let's see if I can scoop it without breaking it. Nicely done, my friend. Nicely done. So I guess this is my lunch and dinner. I think oyster crackers are superior. For sure. I would say that I agree that Aldi's snack foods are very good. I think if there's one thing I trust Aldi to make well in all of their selections, it's snacks. So I would say for all of these applications, I definitely like the Greek yogurt the most. Especially if you're not looking for something sweet and desserty. The Greek yogurt is delicious. Ranch powder in the yogurt, yeah. I'm not gonna do that because I like my yogurt to stay clean, but that sounds great. That's really how you just make like a quick ranch dip too. I don't think Aldi is the same as Trader Joe's. They taste very different to me. Like, I love the cheese selection at Trader Joe's. I hate the cheese selection at Aldi. First of all, Aldi doesn't have a great cheese selection. It's just like the prepackaged supermarket generic shit, and Trader Joe's has way more specialty cheeses. But second of all, the quality in the cheeses at Aldi just doesn't work for me. Does not work for me. Let's see how our sweet potatoes are doing. Oh yeah. They are, I would say, mostly done. 10 more minutes. And I'm starting to smell the fruit. So they are breaking down. I'm gonna give it a twisty twist. And then we'll just let the oven go for 10 more minutes, and then we'll turn it off and we'll let everything just marinate in there. I'm definitely not high right now, although it would be very nice because I'm down for a nap right now. But I always eat like a stoner, guys, in case you haven't noticed. Would you agree that I eat like a stoner? Wow. That is the most gorgeous praise I've gotten in recent memory. That my aesthetic is stoner grandma chic. Thank you so much. That made my entire month. I will hold that near and dear to my heart. Do we have any thoughts we want to rant about today while I do my pot dishes? Right here. You let me know, girl. You let me know. The 3 cans of Spam, I bought one of the cans. The other 2 were sent to me around Christmas time as a PR thing. That was probably the last PR thing that I got before I became an industry pariah, which I wear that badge proudly. The beans that I have soaking are going to be red bean soup for Grandma. I'll probably make them in the Instant Pot tomorrow, although she has requested that I make her fried dough again. And I might try to use up that beignet mix that my friend got from me from New Orleans instead of making my own youtiao this time, just to try it out. She might hate it, but I figured I'd give it a try. This is the Le Creuset. This was given to me. I don't believe I would have ever bought a new Le Creuset. Yeah, I won't know until she tells Uncle. Absolutely right. Grandma. Grandma does not like American meal, but I would say maybe ice cream? Is that a meal? Probably fried chicken? Oh yeah, she loves fried chicken. If she can still chew it, that is. Le Creuset, this one will probably run you $400 retail. You can probably get it on sale for $250 from time to time. not cheap. Yes. It's a bougie French brand, y'all. It's expensive-o. Eat turmeric spice bloomed in oil. It'll heighten the flavor a lot. Cook with it under heat and fat. Do not put it straight on food. It will taste like a slightly fragrant brick-like dirt. But eat it in combination with other refreshing spices that have a slight flavor curve to them, like fennel, anise, cumin, coriander. Put a little bit of acidity in there. But fat is crucial for turmeric, as is with all spices. You should always bloom your spices in oil before you start anything else. But I break that rule sometimes. But if you want to maximize the fragrance of spices, blooming them in oil and fat is never a bad idea. Guys, I think that's it. I don't have anything else exciting to show you today. It's a great Monday. I'm gonna drink my chai and eat my yogurt, and I'll probably sign off soon. Oh yes, eat it with black pepper, right. They are apparently complementary spices that kind of unleash each other's full potential. So thank you, chat. Always learning. Have a good day.